Tonight on The Roast, Pakistan is accused of using a Falcon to spy on India, the BBC is accused of using students as human shields, and Venezuela is accused of electing a new president. It's our There's Nothing Funny to Say About Boston special. Indian security forces have found the remains of a dead Falcon, equipped with a miniature camera and antenna, raising fears Pakistan might be using birds to spy on them. Or worse, Falcons have become douchebag yuppies and are Instagramming their food. Now, the wreckage of the downed bird was strewn across hundreds of centimetres, as seen here in a photo with members of India's border security force. And as was the case following the raid on bin Laden's compound in Pakistan, Indian experts are now examining the tailpiece, specifically the tail, to determine whether this Falcon possessed stealth feather technology. So far, though, reports suggest the spy Falcon did not appear very sophisticated. Which is a little harsh, because if you're not in the spy bird business, you can't really appreciate how hard it is to train a Falcon. God knows I spent years training my bird/bodyguard Falcon Turnbull. Come, Falcon Turnbull. Falcon Turnbull? Ah, you know why he's not coming? He hates seeing images of his fallen comrades. Find Falcon Turnbull. Now, the idea of a spy bird might seem absurd, unless you're looking for solid evidence of hot chips in the area. But it's not the first time something like this has happened. In 2010, Indian police detained a pigeon under armed guard after it was caught on an alleged spying mission. And it's lucky those guards were armed, because otherwise it might have evolved into Pidgeotto, and God knows unarmed guards wouldn't have stood a chance against wing attack. It's super effective. For more, we cross to Clark Richards, who's outside the Pigeon Detainment Centre. Now, Clark, wait, are you in a zoo?
A holding area, Tom. These animals you see behind me, their little bird brains are full of state secrets.
All right, so governments are using animals as spies quite a lot then.
Animals make ideal agents, Tom. They're disciplined, loyal, and hold out well under interrogation. You ever tried waterboarding a fish? I swear they actually enjoy it.
Yeah, but do animals really appreciate the importance of national security? I mean, don't they just want to eat, sleep and hump legs?
No, Tom, I've seen canine agents bite down on a bone-shaped cyanide capsule before any information was given up.
Okay, but in this tech-savvy world, why use a bird and not, say, a drone?
Because animals blend in, Tom. East Berlin, 1974, nobody suspected that giraffe. Plus, drones are expensive. The US plans to spend $23 billion on a fleet of drone spy planes. Not every country can afford that, but you get a bird, a camera, and a roll of duct tape, you've got yourself a no-frills drone right there.
Now, Clark, are there any animals that the Pakistanis won't use?
Never parrots, they're too chatty. They're also racist. I don't care if Polly wants a cracker, this cracker's spoken for.
And finally, Clark, what of the claims that this bird isn't a spy and might just have been the work of Pakistani hunters?
Well, that's exactly what you'd say if someone found your secret spy bird.
That's a good point. Thanks, Clark.
Not a problem, Tom. And remember, trust no one. Not even your dog.
What? You mean Ruby? Ruby's not a spy. She's just the adorable pet of our neighbours, the Pakistani dry cleaners. You're not a spy, are you, Ruby? And look at your flashing little backpack.
But if you were a spy, your codename would be Double Adorable. Yes, it would.
There you go. Turning to our second story, and the London School of Economics has asked the BBC to not air a new documentary on North Korea, saying journalists who posed as LSE undergraduates in order to get into the secretive state put genuine students at risk. The London-based university said that great harm could have come to the other students on the trip had North Korean authorities discovered the truth about reporter John Sweeney, who apparently claimed on his visa application that he was a doctoral student in history. John Sweeney also claimed on his visa application that he was John Sweeney.
I use my own name.
A brazen piece of deception to cunningly bypass North Korea's lack of Google. The LSE students have since reportedly received death threats from North Korea. Not from anyone specifically, just the entire country. And our undercover reporter Jazz Twemlow joins us now live from Pyongyang. Jazz, you look exactly the same. That's not undercover.
Tom, I'm not going to slap on face putty and a fake moustache to go undercover when John Sweeney just goes everywhere as a student version of himself. What a genius.
Oh, fair enough, but you might want to stop using that very unconvincing British accent.
This is my accent, Tom. I am British.
All right. Though Jazz Twemlow, that's clearly a fake name.
That is my name, Tom. You can see it in the end credits.
That's brilliant. It almost looks like you actually work here.
I do work here.
Well, moving on, what's this meant for John Sweeney?
Well, so far it seems massive exposure, promised ratings for the documentary and recognition. He needed to step it up. We all remember how he blended in with those Scientologists. Now he's done it again.
Jazz, there were talk of threats being made to the LSE students by the North Koreans. Being there yourself, are you not concerned for your own safety?
Well, Kim Jong-un is pretty distracted at the moment, trolling the United States and trying to figure out how to actually switch on a missile, so I seem to be getting away with my cunning me disguise.
Yeah, it almost seems too easy.
I know. I hope Barack Obama is watching, because if he wants his troops to invade, he should tell Korean customs that all 1.4 million of them are on an excursion. You're welcome, democracy. Back to you, Tom.
Jazz Twemlow there, a real master of disguise. And for more now on how the university is handling the situation, we're joined in the studio by Mark Humphreys. Mark, with Sweeney just sauntering into North Korea on a student trip, this would have to be the most low-tech spy mission ever.
Yes, Tom, and the school's director is extremely disappointed in the reckless behaviour displayed by these scallywags.
The BBC.
I don't care what you call them, but they could not have chosen a worse time to provoke the North Koreans. These troublemakers let the school down, they've let their pretend classmates down, and now they may have let the whole planet down. And if I hear that they were talking after lights out, then I will be speaking to their parents.
And now other students might be affected by this chain of events.
Yes, the school's director said that students who had trips planned are being advised to cancel them. The BBC has ruined North Korea for everyone.
I'm sorry, Mark. You're saying North Korea, this totalitarian regime with a long track record of human rights abuses and declarations of war, has now been ruined?
Yeah. You see, the LSE students will be forced to apply their economic theories elsewhere. I hear Zimbabwe is unstable this time of year.
Okay, but it's not really the LSE's fault. It's not really going to affect its reputation.
Well, yes it will. So you see, because Sweeney claimed to be an LSE student, and as such, when he was not on school premises, he was an ambassador for the school. He lied to the North Koreans, and this school does not tolerate liars.
So how can it repair its reputation?
Well, maybe they need to bring in some new staff. I've heard of one professor who actually carves the words, "I must not tell lies," into students' hands.
You're referring there to Professor Dolores Umbridge from Hogwarts.
That's the one.
Not a real professor, Mark. Looks like you and the LSE both need to pay a little more attention to what's going on around you.
Do not talk back to me, Tom. You are this close to a suspension.
Mark Humphreys there, getting too close to the story once again.
Oh, hello, Poochie.
Hey, baby. You're hurting me.
And finally tonight, former bus driver Nicolas Maduro has won the Venezuelan election. Yes, the anointed successor of formerly alive man Hugo Chavez, pictured here with a beret and a parrot who's also wearing a beret, chose the former bus driver to carry on his socialist legacy. There's no word yet, though, whether Maduro will continue the legacy of putting berets on birds, but I sure hope so. Now, the election, like most others from countries that are sheer economically disadvantaged, has been disputed, with opposition leader Enrique Capriles refusing to recognise the result until every vote has been counted, a process some commentators are calling democracy. Now, Capriles, dressed here as a flamboyant golfer, has said of President Maduro that the biggest loser today is you. The people don't love you. Yeah, Maduro, you hear that? You know why the people don't love you? Because you haven't put any berets on parrots. For more, we cross now to Nick Richardson, who's been in Venezuela covering the election. Nick, how have you found it?
Oh, a breath of fresh air, Tom. It's so much more exciting than our boring Australian politics. The drama, the tension, the chorizo sizzle. I'm in love, Tom.
Wow, what's so exciting about it?
They're politicians. They put ours to shame. Just look at opposition leader Tony Abbott cast his vote in the 2010 election.
Constituents, he then did.
Now, watch Venezuelan opposition leader Enrique Capriles vote for himself like no one's business. And you know, right after that, he ripped off that tracksuit and made sweet, passionate love to people in the street.
Really?
Oh yeah, Tom.
Now, Nick, Capriles has still not acknowledged his defeat.
Hell yeah, he hasn't, Tom. No wussy, this is a great democracy and I want to wish Mr. Rudd well, like John Howard in 2007. Instead, Capriles ordered citizens to rise up and practice cacerolosa, a popular form of protest where people bang on pots and pans.
Seriously? They have a word for that?
I know, right? Loving this Venezuelan politics, Tom.
All right, thanks, Nick. Now, that's all the time we have for tonight, and
Oh, Ruby's tapping
on a computer. She thinks she's a writer.
Oh, I'm gonna come and give you the biggest cuddle.
Down with whoever. Down with it. Falcon, Turnbull. But if you're here, who's protecting the studio?